How to access your Akashic Records. Welcome to the channel. My name is Aeron Lazar. I'm a multidimensional psychic, and I'm here fulfilling my soul's mission to bring you spirituality in a way which is down to earth, easy to comprehend, easy to follow, and practical into your life. So how to access your Akashic Records. So what are the Akashic Records, first of all? The Akashic Records is, you would have heard it maybe described as the greatest library of information. It's an energetic library that exists, and what it is a record of every single thing that your soul has experienced since its inception and since its creation many lifetimes ago. And what happens is everything your soul is experiencing is recorded in the Akashic Records in real time. It's like a cloud-based storage system, and it records every single experience. So me making this video here on this YouTube channel for you, and you watching this YouTube video is recorded in mine, and it's also recorded in yours because you're watching the video. Now, what's interesting is that some of the records that are contained within the Akashic Realm contain karma, and I can talk about karma and its position within the Akashic Realm and how it's linked to certain records in a separate video if you want me to. But in this instance, it's about how you can access and read your own Akashic Records. But at this stage, it's just important to comprehend that there is karma attached to some records. There's no karma attached to this record, of course, making this video and you watching it, but it's still a record that is contained now within the Akashic Records. So it is think of it like an energetic library of every single experience your soul has had across all of this lifetime, across all your previous past lifetimes, and obviously all of your future lifetimes too are going to be recorded in the Akashic Records. So where are the Akashic Records? So is the Akashic Records like an energetic library in the sky that we can go up there? Is it like the cloud that sits there within the quantum field, and is it sort of separate from us? Well, I'm going to give you an interesting fact in this video about where the Terrestrial Hall of Akashic Records are. So the Terrestrial Hall of Akashic Records, which contains all of your human lifetimes, okay, is actually contained within a dimensional frequency band, but those records are stored within your DNA, within your body. So if you were to look at a helix of DNA, you would see just how much information is stored within there. And mainstream science would look at a helix of DNA, and mainstream science will categorize a lot of the DNA within our body as junk DNA. And, you know, I'm just here to give you my perspective as a multidimensional psychic, is that there's no junk DNA. The universe doesn't make mistakes. There is just a massive amount of information that is stored within your DNA. And this goes back to your ancestry. There's information there from all of your past lives, and it's all stored within your DNA. And so when you've got people who can access people's past lives, and some people are born with a natural ability to be able to do it, as a multidimensional psychic, I teach people how to do this. And it's definitely something that can be taught. It's one of the areas of my specialism. I have programs and academies set up around the Akashic Realm. However, when you think about tuning into somebody's past lives, a lot of people, when they read people's past lives and the energy of people's past lives, aren't really sure what it is that they're tuning into. Their consciousness just happens to tune into it. But what's happening is, without even realizing, is that person doing the reading is actually tuning into the energy of somebody's body and the energy of somebody's DNA, and actually reading past lives and actually reading these significant things. So it's an amazing tool to be able to access it. But again, just appreciate that the Akashic Records is the greatest energetic library of information that exists, and that those records are actually stored within the frequency and the energy of the DNA within your body. The next point that I would like to make on this video is about consent and permission, which is important. So if you are a practitioner, or if you're somebody who's reading somebody else's past lives, okay, if you're accessing somebody else's past lives, you're effectively reading the frequency of somebody else's body. You're reading the energy within somebody's DNA. And so what you would need, if you're reading somebody else's records, you would always need to obtain permission and consent to access somebody's energetic field. The way I teach is of the light. I'm sure if you've been following me for a while, you've felt that over the years. I always respect the universal law of free will and the law of karma. And that means that if we're accessing somebody else's energetic field, we always need permission and consent. So you would always need to obtain that prior to reading somebody else's past lives. However, there is a distinction. So if you have the ability to read somebody else's Akashic records, you can also read your own. So you can tune your consciousness into the frequency of your own DNA, and you can read your own past lives in exactly the same way. You're just accessing the information from your own energetic field rather than the energy from somebody else's energetic field. But the point I make, or what I wanted to put across to you, is that if you're reading your own Akashic records, you don't need permission and you don't need consent. So you don't need to take your own permission and your own consent to read your own records. You can just do it because they're yours. They're a record of your soul's experiences and your soul's history. So therefore you don't need anybody's permission in relation to it. So there's an important distinction there. So the next thing that I wanted to say to you is that me personally, and the way that I teach how to access the Akashic records and the Akashic realm, is I hold a certain level of frequency that allows me to do this. And the way that I teach this, it's almost like my frequency becomes a vehicle to transport people's consciousness to the Akashic realm. And so working with somebody like myself is going to allow your consciousness to be able to tune into and to access the Akashic realm, maybe for the first time, and to start to read those past lives. And you've heard me speak in previous videos where your consciousness has accessed somewhere once or for the first time. It's almost like a GPS, and you know where to go and you know how to access that area of consciousness or that dimensional frequency band again quite easily. It's like a GPS marker or having a sat nav. And so initially, like I say, working with somebody who holds the frequency that can transport your consciousness there is going to be a real advantage. So think of me like a vehicle. Think of my frequency as a vehicle that's going to allow you easy access into the Akashic realm to access all of those amazing past lives and experiences that your soul has had since its inception. So the next thing when it comes to accessing the frequency of your own DNA, because that's what we're talking about, is how to read your own Akashic records. That's the title of this video. The frequency of your DNA is it's stored within its own dimensional frequency band. And you'll hear me talk about what's called the Akashic Realm. The Akashic Realm is its own frequency band, its own dimensional frequency band. And so what you would need to do, like I've said in previous videos, this being your receiver, you need to tune it in to the frequency of the Akashic realm, like a radio station that's playing around you, okay? It's about tuning it into that specific frequency and then being able to access, and that frequency being the key that unlocks the door to the Akashic realm and allows you access into all of these amazing past lives. So you need to be able to tune into the frequency of it, or at least be shown, or to use me and my frequency as a vehicle through my teachings and courses and stuff on how to do it. Use that as a vehicle to be able to access your Akashic records. And again, I point out that everybody can be taught how to do this. Some people find this easy because they've been born with high spiritual connections on things like birth charts. And that's down simply to astrology and how the planets were lining up and the astrological energies at the time. And that combines to somebody's birth chart and whether they have a high natural talent for having access to spiritual abilities. That's all. But everybody can be trained and taught how to do it. If you've got a soul a consciousness and a pineal gland, you can absolutely do this. And I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of people across the years, teaching and showing people exactly how to do just that. Read their own past lives and their own Akashic records. So when you tune into the Akashic realm, you're going to enter into the realm at the same point. This is, you can shortcut it later, and I do teach my students how to do that. So once you've been somewhere once, I teach you the proper way to access the Akashic realm. So you can see what is in the Akashic realm. You can see the Terrestrial Hall of Records. You can see what it's all about. However, once you know where to go and you know how to start reading these more easily and past lives more easily, you don't need to go through the whole process. You can kind of almost shortcut it and just tune into the energy of it. But in the first instance, you're going to enter what's called the Akashic Realm. And if you're visual, you'll just get these incredible visuals. And how it looks to me, the Terrestrial Hall of Records, which is this library, okay, it looks to me like a Middle Eastern sandstone block. So if you've ever seen, the closest sort of image that I found online that looked like it was in Iraq. And I think it's the ziggurat in it's one of the oldest structures on Earth that is still surviving. And if you look at the ziggurat and you look at that's in Iraq, and you find Google images on that, that will show you like a Middle Eastern block, and that kind of resembles, to my consciousness and what it tunes into anyway, what the Terrestrial Hall of Records looks like. And that contains all of your human experiences and all of your records. So you would access this realm and this area with your consciousness once you've tuned into the correct frequency. And that Middle Eastern sandstone block, or that temple, or I've seen people see it as a stately home or as a field of energy, it's the same energy that people are reading. People's mind and consciousness is just interpreting the frequency into slightly different images, but we're all reading the same thing. About 30 meters or so in front of where you're going to appear in the Akashic realm is where the block is. And the block straight ahead, there's an entrance into it. So you would make your way from the point that you enter the realm all the way up to the front of the Terrestrial Hall of Records. Now, there's no door on the Terrestrial Hall of Records. There's like just an opening, and it's an opening that goes into a corridor. Now, at the point where you can enter the Akashic block, the library, per se, with your consciousness, okay, this is the point and this is the moment that you set your intention. So if you can appreciate, within this block, within this Hall of Records, there are millions upon millions upon millions of your own experience records that are sitting within it. If you haven't got a game plan, or you haven't set an intention of what it is that you're looking for when you get inside of this block with your consciousness, you're just going to be wandering around. Your consciousness isn't going to know where to go, and you're going to probably feel a little bit overwhelmed and get quite frustrated because you're not quite getting those past lives to flow through. So you have to set that intention. So when you get to the entrance, which is just an opening in the side of this block, and it's just almost like a darkened corridor that goes down the inside. There's no doorway or password to get in or anything like that. It's not you have to knock on the door and it's like, I've got the password, I'm on the guest list. It doesn't work like that. Once you're in the realm, you've got access to it. So the thing is to set the intention. Okay, I'm looking for a significant past life. I mean, in later videos and in different videos, I can talk to you about karma. There is a specific protocol and a procedure for locating records with karma, to tracing the thread of energy up to a different layer of the Akashic realm called the karmic field, working with the karmic field of energy, repairing the karmic field, lifting the pattern, the karmic pattern from somebody's energetic field, electromagnetic energetic field. And there's a set way of doing it, and there's set protocols, and procedures in order to do it. So in later videos, if you want me to, share in the comments section if you would find a video on karma useful. I'm happy to make one for you. But just for now, just appreciate that you're just going to read some past lives when you go around here. So you need to set the intention. Show me a significant past life. Send me to a significant past life. And then what you would do is you would move inside of that opening, okay, in the Terrestrial Hall of Records, and you would move down that first corridor. And what will happen is, inside of the Terrestrial Hall of Records, if you were to take a bird's eye view over the top of it, looking down like this, over the top, it's arranged on the inside into blocks, okay? And it's all very, very symmetrical. So you're gonna go down the first corridor and you're gonna get to a crossroads at the bottom of it. And you get to choose. You get to choose whether you move left, whether you move right, or whether you, I know the camera's back to front, so on right on the screen, I'm pointing left, but you can go left, right, or straight on. And intuitively, you're going to know which direction to go in. So if you've said, take me to a significant past life, just follow your intuitive directions that it's telling you to move in. And you just keep going down the corridors, and they're all in blocks. It's like looking at Manhattan or an American city from the top down. No skyscrapers, obviously, but how the roads are arranged into symmetrical blocks, that's how it is on the inside. So what's going to happen is you're going to get to a certain place within the Terrestrial Hall of Records, and then what's going to happen, intuitively, you're just going to have this instinctive urge to stop in a certain corridor. And listen to it, listen to your instinct. If your instinct and intuition is saying stop, then stop, that's fine. And then what's gonna happen is you're gonna get a choice of whether there's gonna be records on the left-hand side and the right-hand side of where you are within that corridor. And you ask yourself, is the record I'm looking for on the left-hand side or is it on the right-hand side? You'll intuitively, immediately get a left or a right, listen to it, and then what you do is to reach up, take a hold of the record with your consciousness, bring it in front of you and let it play. Now, once you've read that past life, okay, and you've allowed that to play in your consciousness like a movie, and you're tuned into it. And again, if you want me to do a longer video on the best way and the methods and the techniques of reading past lives, and I'll do a longer video on that, let me know in the comment section and I shall oblige. I find it is a very interesting subject. It's one of the areas of my specialism as a multidimensional psychic. I'd be happy to make a video for you. So if you want that, then let me know in the comment section. But it's important, once you've finished reading the past lives or the past life that you've pulled out, it's super important that you leave the Akashic Realm and you leave the Terrestrial Hall of Records in the same condition that you found it. In the Akashic Realm, there is perfect order and there is absolute order within that realm. And it's neat and it's tidy, and it has to be because there's so much information there. So think of it like a respect thing. So if you had access into one of the greatest libraries, and it was a physical library here on Earth, okay, and you walked into it and it is just magnificent, right? Let's say the Library of Alexandria still existed and it hadn't been destroyed, right? But let's say that there was this most magnificent library and it was full of gold and marble and the most ornate sort of wood, and it was just magnificent. And you were in there reading these amazing ancient books and records and things like that. You know, would you scrunch up a soda can and throw it over your shoulder, or, you know, get your sandwich wrapper, drop in the sandwich wrapper, throw it over your shoulder when you finished and walked out? No. You would put that stuff in the bin. You'd take care of the place, right? Just out of a matter of respect. So the energy in what I'm teaching you and showing you here, once you've finished reading whatever record it is, make sure that you put that record that you've pulled out, either from the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the corridor, make sure you slide that into the appropriate side and make sure that you've left that corridor as you found it. And leave the place clean and tidy. Within the Akashic Realm, there are beings that are called guardians or keepers, and they're awesome, they're powerful, and they make sure that the place is kept left and kept tidy. So make sure you stay on the right side of the keepers at all times. They're not to be messed with. They are benign, they're amazing. I can do a video on them if you want me to. However, they are there to keep order within the Akashic Realm. So I'm just saying to you, just make sure that you leave the place as you've found it. And again, if they're your records, no problem, go back and read them. Your soul had those memories. So that's it. And then what you would then do, obviously from this point, is you would just tune your consciousness back to where you've gone into the realm from a meditative state, and then bring your point of attention back inside of your own body, open your eyes, and you're back to this reality and this dimensional frequency band that we're all tuned into right now. So that is how you would read your own Akashic records. If you found this video useful, like I say, let me know in the comment section. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Click the icon. It helps us grow the channel. It helps us help you. And don't forget, when you subscribe, you're going to get notified for every single brand new video that we drop on this channel the second that we do it. So you're not going to miss anything and you're not going to waste any time. Also linked in the description, there's going to be a couple of different things. If you're interested in the Akashic Realm, if you're interested in the Akashic Records, there's two things. So if you're interested in learning about how to access your own Akashic Records and to be taught how to do this and to be piggybacking on my frequency as a vehicle to get you there, I have an amazing Akashic Records course which teaches people in depth how to access your own Akashic Records. And I will link that in the description. Please go and check it out. Absolutely amazing course. People absolutely love it, and it really bridges that gap and provides that key that your consciousness needs to access the Akashic Realm for the first time. Also linked in the description is going to be a link to my Akashic Mastery Academy. Now, if you're a budding practitioner or you're somebody who wants to start to learn to work with other people's energetic fields, to start to work with competence and to start to work with confidence within the Akashic Realm in other people's fields, then come and check the link, come and join my academy. In that, I take people from zero experience up to competent practitioner level within 3 months. And I also certify people in my method. And so again, if you're interested in learning about this on a personal level, there's a course for it. If you want to come and join the academy, which includes regular live sessions, practice sessions for the practitioners that I'm putting through it, you're welcome to come and check that out. Both of those links will be in the description. Thank you very much for joining me here on today's video, and I will catch you very soon on the next one. Take care of yourself and stay blessed. Bye-bye.